Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of A Whole Single. And I'm just coming to you today because I want to share some questions with you that I believe that you should ask on a first date. Now, let's be honest, it is hard to get to know someone. It's hard to know what questions to ask and do you step on any toes by asking this? How should I phrase that? Let's face it, it's not a job interview, which sometimes it can really feel like you're interviewing for a position at Microsoft. It's where did you go to school? Who are you? Like those questions make you feel interrogated instead of like you're really having a conversation. So here's some recommendations that I received from some of the top experts in the field. So first, the question is simply, what made you want to ask me out? What made you want to spend time with me? That gives you some insight on what they saw when they saw you, when they met you, when they first conversed with you. What led them? What is there about you for them that made them want to approach you, that made them want to have a conversation with you, that made them want to ask you out? Was it your first response? Was it the tone of your voice? Was it the how you responded? Was it your looks? Now beauty is fade and it fleets fast and it goes away. So you still want to know, was it my mannerisms? Was it the way that I walk? Now let me tell you, sisters, and I'm gonna tell you, brothers, for some of us, a lot of us, it's a major turnoff when you say, oh, because you're sexy. My response, I'm smart too. There's a S, but it's not the right word. So just go into that date and want to know and ask them, what was it about me that made you want to approach me, that made you want to conversate with me, that made you want to take me out on a date? Then the next question, what are you looking for? What are you looking for in a conversation? What are you looking in, whether it's a casual hookup or a life partner? You want to know ahead of time so you know how far you're going to open the gates of your world, how far you're going to extend those boundaries to this person. If you know ahead of time, if you know up front that this is someone you need to put in the friend zone, or if this is someone that you may want to explore, endeavor a little bit more into, find out what they want. It's a hard thing to believe that we can change someone's mind, that they said they just want a casual hookup or something, friendship, and you sometimes us as women, we feel like we are God and that you're going to change his mind, and that you're going to do something so spectacular that's going to all of a sudden make him decide that you're the one. And a lot of times we do things that we shouldn't do, and we connect ourselves to people we shouldn't too early in a friendship or relationship because we're trying to win them over. And so that's a good question to ask is, what are you looking for? Then I would ask something like, well, what matters to you? What's the most important things about your life? And so don't be specific. Don't say, do you like live music? Or that's me, I want to ask, do you like live music? Because that's going to be a big decision maker. Because I love live music. I studied music. Okay. I'm sorry. And so, but that's that question, what matters to you? Is it family? Is it the time they spend with someone they care about? Is it they like to watch TV? This show I'm watching right now is very important to me. Or they like video games. And that can let you know what kind of, where's their mind at? What matters to them? Do they have the capacity for you to matter to them? If they say something like video games, that we could be iffy with that because I don't particularly care for them. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't enjoy my man having him or whatever the big thing is now. And when I'm watching Lifetime or BET and he's watching, playing his game, I don't see anything wrong with that. But that's on down the line. And so then I'm going to make this short. The next question. Well, what does your work life balance look like? This question has a lot to do and out do it figuring out, do they have the skills for a healthy relationship? Do they put off important social engagements for work? Do they Are they workaholics? Do they, it's all about the job. They never have time to spend with loved ones or friends. That lets you know, where are you going to fit in that? Will you have time for me? Will we have time to get to learn more about each other if you're always at work? So I would ask, what does your work life balance look like? What do they like to do when they're not working? The next question may be, well, if you had a week off, what would you do? Some would say, oh, I'd go out of town, I'd go traveling, I'd take a cruise, I'd take a trip. Some may say, I just would simply lay around the house and relax and rest. So that will give you an idea of what kind of things they do with their free time. Maybe they want to just stay home and pet their dog. But it is a quick way to open up a conversation to other questions, to keep the conversation flowing. Nothing is worse than that awkward, dead air space when you're sitting there. Like I said, that's why the museum was a great place to go for a first date. Because in those awkward moments, you look at something, you look at a piece of art, you look at some sculpture, and you can just start a conversation about it. And it at least keeps the conversation going. And then you may be able to remember one of these other questions, like when you spend time with people, how often are you the one making plans? Now, that's a big deal to me because people, I may be approached and someone may say, let's go out on a date. And for me, I've been single so long and I've had to make so many decisions for myself for so long that for me, I'm looking for a leader. I want a leader that's going to say, well, I planned for us to go to the jazz concert, and then after that, we're going to dinner, or we're going to dinner, then to the jazz concert. I would love a strong individual that can make these plans. Now, not all men or women are as, upfront about making plans and doing other things. So this question will let you know how much they would be investing as far as their time or their creativity on where to take you or what they want to do or the things they would like to do. And it makes you also understand more about their communication style. Like they tend to be what kind of relationship, when they're in a relationship, what kind of places they like to take their significant other, their mate, the person they're dating. It gives you an idea if you're compatible, if those are some of the things that you like to do. He may say, I go fishing all the time. If you don't like to fish, then maybe that's someone that you may be friends with and go fishing occasionally with. Or if he says that maybe, he likes to go to the gun range. Those kind of things, it gives you some more insight on compatibility and things that you may be able to share together on down the line and conversate about. Good question. How well do you feel like you compromise with others? Is this person just headstrong? Oh no, nah, with what I say and that's what I say and that's when I say it, that's what we're gonna say. Then maybe you want to think, because we all give and take. We're all created unique, peculiar, as God calls us, peculiar creatures. So none of us are just alike. So every now and then there's going to be a compromise. There's going to be, well, I don't really want to eat Mexican food tonight. I'd rather have Italian, or I'd rather have seafood. and he says he wants some fried chicken, would he compromise? Would he say, well, listen, dear, we can have lobster tonight, and next week, can we go have some Eugene's chicken? Okay, yeah. When I get ready to eat that chicken, I may even buy it for you because of the compromise, because you allowed me to have something that I wanted and put yourself to the side in your feelings and your wants. So that's a compromise. And that leads to further compromises. If if you and this person click and you begin a relationship, this lets you know when things happen or when you have a difference of not just so opinions, but a difference of what you want to do, a direction you want to go that day, or the direction you want to go that week. How willing are they to compromise? Let's talk it out. Let's see the commonalities in what we're getting ready to do, and then flesh out those differences so that we may come to a equal yoke, an equal standard. Another question: what do you think is important for a healthy relationship? This helps you to know their values, how they value the other person in their life. Do you do are you a talker? If we have an argument, are we going to get over it and sit down and have a recap and get some understanding? Or are you just a closed person, like, you know what, that's it, I said it, I'm done, and you're mad for 3 days, and then I'm just supposed to assume that, by day four, you're not mad any longer, or that we've resolved the issue. Too many things get unresolved in relationships, and they fester and they fester, and people bring it back up in their memory and bring it back up in their memory and relive it in their memory until it can cause problems on down the line. So it's really good to know how they feel about a healthy relationship, healthy communication, healthy touch, healthy um, body language. At that, those are good things to ask. I wanted to also I asked, how do you handle conflict? That's back to your morals and values. How do you hold yourself accountable? Or how do you hold other people accountable? Um, when we have an argument, are you a yeller? I don't argue. Some people hear that all the time until people just don't believe that a person does not argue. I don't argue. As soon as my discernment hears the tension in your voice, I'm going to say to you, if you want to argue, let's wait to talk about this when you've calmed down and we can speak reasonably. Because I'm not with the yelling, screaming, throwing stuff, tantrums. I grew out of that when I was 2.5. I had big brothers. No need to have a tantrum. They just laugh at you anyway. But yes, you really want to know how do they handle conflict, and not just with you. Like I said, my brother Wayne said, how do they handle conflict at Walmart? When the people of when the say the cashier was rude to you, you weren't rude to her. How do you handle that? How does that person handle that? Do they get in a tete-a-tete, a back and forth with the person, or do they simply say, have a blessed day, and walk away? That handle conflict is a big one. And so, last but not least, and there's certainly more questions, this is a biggie. Some people don't want to talk about yesterday, and I'm not big on talking about yesterday either. But I've found that certain questions are helpful to get to learn how this person moves and operates. And this question: what is something in past relationships that you needed to work on? This lets you know if this person holds any self accountability. If they're a narcissist, nothing happened, I didn't do it, it never was me. Or is this person building a healthy mindset for themselves and recognizing things that they may do that not so pleasing, things that they do that could have hurt another person, things they've done that could have soured another person towards them? This is a major question that I myself would never have thought about asking, because of the way I am about leaving yesterday in the past. But when it comes to being accountable for myself, I have to look at some interpersonal relationships, some of those interpersonal skills that I have, and refine them, tune them up, get them back on point. See, accountability is a big thing. Being accountable to yourself and knowing, hey, this was not the right choice, or this I could do better, or I shouldn't have done that. I know that hurt that person, and it's a hurtful thing I've done, so maybe I should not do this again next relationship. But there you have it. 10 good questions. Not all of the questions, but just a few. And maybe on next show, I'll come back and I'll give you some more questions to ask on that first date. Also, I'm thinking about a second date. And so I'm going to open a poll so you can tell me where should I go on a second date. The museum was fabulous. I gathered so much data attained through that experience that it did cause me to want to have a second date and see how much more information, how much more data I can collect on this gentleman and see where it's going. Anyway, guys, love you by the gallons. Thank you to all of my subscribers, all of the hundreds of people who have watched my videos. I am so stoked about this. A whole single. Yes, that's what we are. We are whole and we're single, but we are loving life and we're loving the God that created us. And so, next time, love you guys.